Hi, I'm Georgina Lewis, and we are the Sew Along with Georgie Girl. Before we start talking about the Easy Sunday, I want to talk about the projects that we have coming up this month in October and some of the projects we have in November. And then we're going to talk about our homework assignments and sewing along on this beautiful Easy Sunday quilt. And every month, because you guys voted, we're going to do some tool project. So with that, let's get started. Our way backward, let's talk about all the projects, and then we're going to end up with the Easy Sunday, and that will be the rest of the evening. And we're only going to hopefully, I'll talk fast enough that you can hear me, but not too fast that you can't make out what I'm saying, because I have a problem with talking fast. So one of the things we're going to do in November, there's a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, and this is a super easy quilt, and that is the Tippecanoe and Tyler 2. Here are some of the fabrics that go into that beautiful quilt. And this Kate broke down into making his Ohio stars with these stripes. And then, of course, this beautiful fabric. Now, the pattern is proprietary, so you do need the book. And you should be able to get this book. Here's the book. Either at your local quilt shop or if you attend one of his workshops that's coming up. We're going to cover up these little instructions right here so we don't show those. But there's the picture of this beautiful quilt. And it's just stunning. It's really incredible the way he made this quilt and the stars out of those simple fabrics. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we are going to start a Zuma project. And what I'm going to do is take the Zuma kit, and I'm going to take the fabrics in the Zuma that came, and I'm so excited I got mine like this weekend, so I'm really, really excited. I've already looked through this. You can see all those wonderful fabrics in there. I've already looked through this, and I've already paired it up. Here's my little beautiful fabrics. I've already paired it up for 2 other quilts. So you can use that kit to make the one that she has, and then also a couple other quilts if you want with that kit. So I just want you to know that's something we're going to be going over. The other thing that we're going to do that's kind of a miscellaneous thing that we're going to go over is totes. So I had a tote class last month, and we had 60 attendees sign up. I was just amazed. And of those 60, 39 attended on a regular basis, and 9 of them attended all 6 classes, which I was just so impressed as my first sew along to have that many people dedicated to finishing their totes. And the beautiful thing about totes is they're not that hard. There's not that many steps to it. People are just afraid to sew on curves. And so I want to show you the tote real quick, and I want to tell you about what we're going to be doing in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Because some people did not finish their tote, and they asked me to do it again. But while I was doing the tote class, I was making the sister tote to it. So let me show you those. Okay, so this is the tote. It's called the Mega Tote. And this is really great for when you go to retreat because you've got a lot of stuff you can fit in here. It's a soft tote, just like you would expect at this size. It's got a front panel, one side middle panel, and then a back panel. And that's all there really is to it. The cool thing about it is it has pockets. So it has internal pockets, and we put mesh. I'm going to show you real quick. You can see in here. We did mesh pockets. And so that really made it fun and interesting. Well, while I was teaching this class, I had already designed that tote. I designed this tote. I said, this one's unfinished, so it was just last week. And I just have the top to do and the zipper on the top. But it's just like the Mega Tote. It's got the front panel here and the front pocket. It's got the side panel and side pocket, and it has the back and back pocket. And this is where you can put your little luggage handle through. But what's really cool about this version of the tote is it's a little smaller. So this one is airplane compliant, and it has a pocket for your water bottle while you travel, and you can put your plane ticket in here. It has the zippered mesh pockets on the inside, but it has a zipper on the top as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a compressed version of that class. I'm going to do it in 3 weeks instead of 6 weeks so that everyone can make one if they want to give it as a gift. And you need about 2 yards of fabric. The pattern is that Petting Fabric. And then 3 weeks of your time on Monday night. So it's not hard to make a tote. And I really want you to give it a go And I think you'll go to the wall and see how many people were just so excited, especially Karen Dart's done a great job. I don't know if she's watching tonight or not, but she did a great job. She's a new sewer, new beginner quilter, and she's done fabulous. So you guys can do it too. Okay, what else did I talk about when we didn't have audio? Oh yes, let's talk about this, quilts. And I love Tula. I love to collect Kate and Tula. And I said to 2 of these Florida designers, I really would like a quilt that is with Tula de la Luna, but, you know, it's very Mardi Gras to me. And so I don't know how to really do something, you know, like a soft Halloween. And so they came up with this pattern. It's super easy for beginners, and it's staggered. So staggered panels down the way. I'm going to stand up and show this to you. It's not that big. See? It's great. And it's got this double piping here on the side, which is very unique. Cute backing, patchwork. So, you know, it was, I don't know if you saw before, when I went through all the fabrics that they sent me, there was only 5 fabrics that I needed plus the black backing. So it was super easy. And I'm like, okay, this is something I could put together before Halloween. Like, I can do difficult quilts, but I want to do something simple and easy for Halloween, and we don't have a lot of time. So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to put this quilt together, the De La Luna, called the Soft Halloween. If you're a Petty Fabric member, you can get it at the Petty Fabric website, or you can get the pattern from the authors at So Celebrate. And thank you very much for putting that quilt together. And then I do want to say, I just jostled the phone here, so you can hear me. I do want to say also that we have a surprise, if I didn't say this before in this recording, we have a surprise project coming up in November, December timeframe with Roberta Leonard and Oso Sally. But it's a surprise, so you're going to have to wait to hear about that. And now let's go on to the Easy Sunday. So the Easy Sunday quilt is super easy, obviously, and it's, as you all know, is designed by Carl and Linda, husband-wife team. They design a lot of wonderful quilts. I'm sure we will be doing more of those quilts in the Sew Along. So with the Easy Sunday, what I want to tell you is there's some people that asked me and contacted me and said, can I do the Easy Sunday on my own fabrics? And yes, you can. What you want to do is really focus on a couple different things about those fabrics. And that's what I want to spend the rest of the night talking about. I want to talk about the fabrics and the products we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing the rug, the quilt, the tuffet, and then the pillows. All right? So let's talk about the quilt versus the tuffet. We'll start there, and then we're going to talk about the pillows and the rug, which will be coming up in the next 2 weeks. So you guys got the instructions down. Like, you have these instructions. I hope you will do for me, and we'll talk about this before I end, your homework assignments. So right on your second page of your instructions, it tells you to cut out all those fabulous purple squares. So you have 448, I think it is, of the purple to cut out. You have all of these 5.5-inch squares to cut. Okay? So here's the thing I want you to know before you start. When you get this fabric, all right, and you've got the kit, if you're doing your own fabrics, pay attention to the fabrics you choose and think about what we're about to talk about. But for the ones that are actually used in the quilt kit, most of you, some of the fabrics like this one, we're really close. We had to cut right to the pattern. But most of them we overcut just a hair so that you could make some other items out of this kit. And so here's what I want to say to you. Before you start cutting, think about the other items you might want to make. And I'll tell you what the measurements are on those other items so that you can figure out what scraps you have left over and which items you want to tackle. You don't have to have all 22 fabrics to do some of the other projects, which is really great. So if some of the fabrics are a little, tight for the project you want, and you don't have enough scraps, it's okay. You don't need 22 of those fabrics left over to make these projects. So that's what we're going to walk through. But like this one, for example, that's a beautiful fabric. it had a row right here on the edge of white flowers. Well, I used that. That was one of the things that I used in my tuffet. So you want to, really pay attention before you cut the fabrics that have a pattern to them. Figure out if you want to make something else like a tuffet or a rug or a pillow, what you want to show up in that item when you cut, and cut your square on the appropriate side, either this side for the quilt or this side. Do not cut down the middle and fussy cut it unless you don't care about making one of those other items. So if you did, I can still teach you how to use what you have left over. That's the good news. All right, so you've got all of these. This won't be an issue here. The same pattern on the fabric. This one will be a little different, right? Because depending on the size that you got and the colors that are falling into it, you want to think about how that's going to work out in your tuffet and your rug. Your rug is pretty easy. Your rugs can handle all the colors, and you just have to think about the sequence of the colors. Like there's yellows in this rug, and there's blues in this rug, and greens and reds. So I think the pattern to the quilt is significantly different than how you would do a tuffet and a rug. And we're going to go over the tuffet first. And then Roberta Leonard is providing our rug kits and our fabric packs for the rug and for the pillows. And so when we have that rug together, and that's not this week, we're going to show you the options for the color schemes you can put together. This one won't be an issue. Just recapping these real quick. Won't be an issue. Won't be an issue. You get to this one. Again, you need to think about where you're going to cut, right? Where am I going to cut the piece for? This is the piece right here that I tried to use in the tuffet, this strip of flowers right here. But it's up to you. And I'm going to show you that tuffet, and I'm going to show you options. But you want to think about that when you go to cut your quilts and your other pieces that you're going to need, okay? Same thing on this directional fabric. It depends what you want to use this section for, or do you just want to use that whole thing? Obviously, these are scraps that I have. This is not the size of the fabrics you have in your kit. Won't be a problem. Won't be a problem. Won't be a problem. Won't be a problem. Here we go, another directional fabric, right? So this is where you want to think before you cut. And then I think I had another one of these, and then this won't be a problem. So those are all of our fabrics there. And let's talk about how to think through the Easy Sunday and that tuffet. So I'm going to show you the tuffet that I have. Okay. And I want to thank PJ, the tuffet lady, for making this for me. It's on loan. It's not mine. I wish it was mine. It's only on loan to me. But she was gracious enough to let me dictate the color scheme of the tuffets. And I actually pick out all the color schemes for most of her tuffets because that's the flow of color depth that I really love and enjoy and I'm pretty good at. One of the things about a tuffet, and I wish you guys could see this. I see this on the camera and I see this here in person. And I saw a photo that she sent me before I drove to Orlando to get it this weekend. And I have to tell you that this tuffet is just flipping amazing in person, just like amazing. You have all of these pinks that show up that you don't realize you see in a picture. So I wish you guys could see this. You know, it's kind of smell-o-vision. You wish you could smell like them cooking on TV. I wish you guys could literally see this in person because you'd just be like in awe of it. And it's got these beautiful pinks that come through with the pink flag, and then that pink, right, squiggle, and then that stripes that we just talked about that was directional. It really shows up quite differently, and I'm just going to go back and find that scrap and show this to you. Okay, now I have a picture of how I laid this tuffet out when I sent it to her, but you can see this here, and the way that it's cut, this pink right here is one of the pinks that show up, and then this is one of the other ones that show up, and then that one shows up. So, you know, that became the challenge when she and I were debating over the sequence of the tuffet, and I did not follow the pattern of the Easy Sunday quilt. And that's because I believe on a tuffet that you should integrate the different colorways. And so I was trying to think of an analogy, and I'm not a surfer. I live here in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know why this thought keeps coming through my head, but it's kind of like two waves on a beach when they come together and they like intertwine. That's how you want to think of the color scheme of your tuffet, if that makes sense, because you're going to have your reds and your yellows intertwine. Then you have your orange and your blues, and they all need to intertwine. And so a lot of times when I see people on the wall at Facebook, they'll put up a bunch of beautiful case fabrics and they'll say, do they go together? And it's really kind of the question is, what are you making out of it? How are you going to establish it? Because if you're going to make a tuffet out of it, then you can't put up the same colors back to back to back like that. What I like to do, especially with people who are making tuffets the first time, is I like to lay out the whole color scheme and put all the same colors together. And then I start pulling out the ones that have alternating colors in them, and I interweave them in the sequence. And I hope that makes sense. But if I were to explain that real quickly, let's say we have prominent oranges together, right? Well, then what you want to do is you want to pick that next color set, and maybe that next color set has some yellow in it. So maybe we're picking the yellow. Well, you're not going to put these next to each other, but what you're going to do is you're going to slowly weave like a yellow into it, come back and put a red, a bright red, or maybe a red orange. That's the same one. You tell I like that one. So maybe put a red in there, pulls this red all the way through, and then you come pick up that second pattern again of maybe now we put the yellow in. But because they alternate, and if I start with two of the same type of colors, put a third color, come back to that first one, then put two more of the second, I'm interlocking all those color schemes as I progress through the rainbow, let's say. You don't have to do rainbow sequence, but that's what really makes sense. And then what happens is that really pops. So the first thing you need to think about in the tuffet is the sequence. And so if you can see this, I will do you a huge favor. If you want to copy this exactly, I have the photos, 3 different layouts that we chose for the tuffet. And this was the final one, but you can see all 3 versions. But when you look at this tuffet, you can see that it went orange-red, right? Then there's that blue-pink flag. Then I pulled the blue-red. Can you see that? So orange-red, put a pink in there, then pulled that red back through here with a blue, then went red-blue again, pulled the red-yellow, because I'm about to go into the yellows. So, you know, then I have a green-blue, and then I pull the green-blues back in. So we alternate our color schemes, and we do transfer colors from greens to yellows to reds to oranges. So I'll do that again. I did greens to yellows, right? There's another blue-green to reds, red and yellow. I'm pulling that yellow through and I'm pulling that blue through. There's the blue through with the red, the pink, and then back into the red oranges. So that flow is there. And then you can see each and every color because it distinguishes itself because it's not all the reds together and then all the blues and then all the greens. They just don't pop that way. You've got to, you know, intertwine those to make them really pop and really stand out. So that's how we organize colors together when I get the tuffet lady to make tuffets for me or from one of my classes. Now, one of the other things to think about your tuffet is what is going to be the loudest fabric. And it kind of depends on your personality also. I'm not afraid of color. I love color. So for me, I'm going to pick the loudest color to me that stands out, which was the pumpkin rake. And that is the pumpkin rake that I gave in the kit. So if you go to our Cutting Fabric wall to buy the bottom of this tuffet, which you will not have the material for the bottom of this tuffet, and you need some material for this button. And so if you need a tuffet pattern, you can get that anywhere. In our price for the tuffet pattern, the ruler, and the fabric is less than the combo of those three things independently. And so I'm going to give you a half a fabric, yard of fabric of this, because I ordered enough when I got the Easy Sunday to know that this was going to come in this kit. And I picked this pumpkin rake because it really, look how it stands out. It stands out. See, it's here. This pumpkin rake is here, here, and here. And the one thing about this tuffet that I want to share with you, when you're making a tuffet, right, you need, I hope I get this right, you need 16, which is 32, 16, 16, okay? So, if you have 16 full width of fabric strips, you should have 2 inches, but you must have 1 3/4 inches twice. All right, so you need 2 full width strips, 1 3/4 inches twice, and you can make this work for you. So that's, 2 inches. When you get to 2 inches, that would be better if you're a beginner because you have more fabric to handle. But technically, you only need 1.5 inch, but that's cutting it really close. So we always say 1 3/4 inch. So lay your fabrics out. You're going to lay out the 16 fabrics, and you're going to repeat that 4 times. Now, obviously, some of the fabrics, like this one, you're not going to get 4 strips of the same colorway, and that's okay. You can mix it up, you can change it, but what I want you to do is anchor the tuffet with whatever that button fabric is that you're going to be using. That's that bright fabric, and wherever that falls needs to be in the same spot on all 16 prints. Does that make sense? So if you, I'm just going to repeat it. So if you have, let's say, 16 fabrics, right? You don't have, and in the kit you have 22 in the Easy Sunday. So don't make your life too difficult, but you want to pick one that's fun, right? And you say, okay, this is the one I'm going to pick. Well, one time it's going to be like this, one time it's going to be like this, right? So it's going to change up a little. That's fine. But when you go to add whatever your signature fabric is, that brightest one, whether it be a batik or it be the raked pumpkin, you need to make sure that that raked pumpkin is in the same spot on all 16 sections. There's 4 16 sections, so that it looks perfectly diagonal like a clock. If you can see here, this is my, right? See how that stands out right there? This always stands out. And this one here, right, this is the pumpkin, so I'm going to turn that to the top. So you can really see it now. It's 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I wonder if that's 3 o'clock for you reversed, or 9 o'clock, and that's 3 o'clock maybe, and that's 6, right? So make sure you pick these dominant fabrics, and they need to lay in the same exact spots on all 4 sections, and you're going to have a phenomenal looking tuffet. And the rest of it, mix it up. It'll be great. It'll just be more colorful. Okay, so how to make a tuffet. Last thing, there's 2 things that come to making a tuffet. First, you need the pattern and the instructions with a out-of-quarter ruler and your fabric. You're going to sew the top. The top is the covering. Then from there, you have an option. You can get the tuffet kit, and that's the foam and the bottom and the buttons, the brads, the feet, and you're going to need a needle, or you can have someone assemble it for you. And so the kit you can get at Sew Celebrate, okay? Or you can find it online. Sew Celebrate has all of it put together. There's a lot of things. I think there's like 17 items to a tuffet kit, and if you go on her site and you look down at the bottom under additional directions, it's going to tell you all of those pieces, so you can go hunt for them, or you can get them from her. I'll tell you, there's not a lot of markup for them because it's so expensive. They just want to help you get that tuffet put together, and they're just pulling it together. I think they put a special for us at like $20 off just so that we could get it almost at her cost. So go there if you need a tuffet kit. If not, next week, what I'm going to do is have a panel sewn for you. Tonight, I will take my picture of the order that I put the fabric up on the Sew Along with Georgie Girl, and it's going to be its own thread. So everything we're going to do, like the quilt's going to be in its own thread, the tuffet's going to be its own thread, the rugs will be in their own thread, and the pillows will be in their own thread. So let's try to keep all those components together in the same spots, okay, in each thread. After we get through next week, I'm going to have the sewn top, or at least one panel for you to see the order that I did. I'll put the picture up on the wall of the order that I picked. PJ had an order that she wanted to do it in, and that was a great order as well, as a great option. I'll put that picture up, okay? Next week, when we come back together, you should have that sewn, or at least your fabrics laid out. Put it on the wall and ask people what they think. If you don't know how to make a tuffet or you're concerned, we're all here to help each other grow. So do that before next week. Next week, when we get together, we're going to talk about the pillows, the woven pillows. And Jan in Portland, who's one of our members, I met her in May when I went out to the conference, became fast friends, and she sews all our pillows. She's wonderful. She does a lot of charity work as well, and I applaud her. She's my idol. And she is putting together our woven pillows with the Westie tool. And so all you need is the Westie tool and the pattern, and we're going to give you 2 alternative patterns or extensions to learning how to make pillow shams to match your quilt, which is really cool. And then lastly, the next thing we're going to do, which is not this week, you have no homework assignment this week, is Roberta Lennard with Oso Sally has put together a kit for us, and she sent me some of the kit items for the rug. So she has the rug, so I call this the guts, right? So this is, but I call this the premium rug guts. She has the guts to the rug, so she's going to give you the jelly roll rug pattern. She's going to give you the rug fossil that you need, okay, and the accessories. What's really cool about the kit, and she sent this to me last week, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Roberta. She has these special extra big clips that she uses in her instructions. So you get, I call it the premium jelly rug kit. And you don't know that I do that, Roberta, now you do, but I do that all the time. I always refer to your rug kit as the premium rug kit because it's got all the little accessories you need in that rug kit, the jelly roll rug kit, to reduce the amount of time it takes you to make this rug. So if you're going to buy the products, buy it from her, because I'll tell you, she's got it going on, and she's been making these jelly rolls, and it's like, boom, she's happening. When things come out on the World Wide Web, she's all over it, she's posting about it, and she's making it first. So she's going to send you that rug kit. Now, the other thing she's going to make up for us is a fabric pack. So you're going to have the option of getting a 1/4 yard or an 1/8 of a yard of the fabrics you need, because when we talk about pillows next week and we talk about rugs, you do not have enough scraps in your kit to make these other items. Should you have 2.5 inch strips, and I think Roberta will type on the wall for me, but I think it's 40 of them, then but you can use, right, 22 by 2.5 inch, and you need 40 total. Then you could make a rug, but you can get your guts from her, the premium rug kit packet from her, but you won't have enough for your pillows. Likewise, you won't have enough for your tuffet. So if you want to make all 3 or 2 of the 3, you need a fabric pack of some of these fabrics, and Roberta's going to be putting them together. She doesn't have all of the 22, but you don't need all the 22 because you're not making the Easy Sunday quilt. You need enough to make the rug, and you need enough to make the pillows. And the pillows are standard pillow size pillow shams. They're 20 by 26. And God bless Jan, because I drove her nuts on how I wanted this pillow made, the backing I wanted on it, the order that I wanted it in. I think the poor lady, she wove it 2 or 3 times until finally I think she was weaving in front of the football game because I took so much of her time during the day. She was still going at night. And God bless you, Jan. I love you to death. So that's all of our assignments for the week and all the things we need to do. So the 2 things I want to challenge you to do. Number 1, before we get together next week. And next week, we're going to have all our purple squares cut. That's a lot. If you have the Martelli cutter, which you guys know I'm obsessed with, this new Martelli cutter, and I know a couple of y'all have it and love it. A couple of you want it. Karen Dart want it. Roberta, you have one. I know PJ has one. I don't know about Maya, but I'm sure you have one. But these are just like phenomenal. I can sit here at the table and I can cut and not stretch over on my back or stand up and lean over and hurt my back. And they're just fabulous. So you can either cut that, you can use the round rotary Martelli cutter, or you can use your AccuGo, whatever you have. But get all your squares cut. Go ahead and get all of your 5-inch panels cut. I had some of those before I started mixing up my fabrics. Just a minute. I know what happened. Here we go, right? So get all your squares cut. 5.5 inch, 5.5 inch, 5.5, not 5. Finish is 5, 5.5, I believe. Check your pattern, make sure I'm right. If I'm not right, post it on the wall. I love that. But 5.5 inch squares for this, and then get all of your purple cut. And then next week, you're going to see it starting to come together and sewn together. And I think that one of the difficult things is I saw the quilt at market in May, and it's just amazing. Like, I would have never picked those colors together, and I think because I saw the quilt in market, you all probably saw my post on the wall where I'm making my son a quilt for Christmas. I have to remember to not let him watch this video before Christmas. But I'm making him a Jaguar quilt, and I'm putting batiks in it now because, thank you, Carl and Linda, that was such a great suggestion, putting that in the Easy Sunday, and I'm going to be mixing my fabrics. So don't be afraid to mix your batiks. That's the point of this, is if you have batiks and you're not using the Easy Sunday quilt, do it. But when I saw it in May, I was like, oh my gosh, light bulb, epiphany, why wasn't I thinking about this sooner? Okay, so those are all our homework assignments for a week. Go to the wall at Sew Along with Georgie Girl, and I'm going to put up tonight some pictures for your tuffet layouts as options. Think about your fabrics. Think about how you want to cut them. If you fussy cut in the middle, you might be sacrificing the size, which would be okay, because you do not need 22 fabrics and full width to do the tuffet, the pillow, or the rug. And with your scraps, you should be able to make one of those 3 other things. And remember, the whole reason why we went down this path was those 2 wonderful ladies on our wall who posted about their finished bedroom look. And we were like, okay, we do pillows, but why don't we do the whole thing? And so we're having fun this year in this holiday season, and we're going to have the complete bedroom set. We're going to do the quilt, the rug, the tuffet, and the pillow shams. Now I have another surprise for you when we talk about pillows. Jan is making me some European pillow shams as well. So I will share those patterns and yardages with you as we do it. So have a great evening. Thank you, everyone. What I'm going to do now, if you attended one of my webinars, what I always do is I stop recording, I pull the computer closer, put on my little goggles, glasses, and I read all your questions. So if you have any immediate questions you want answered, you can go to chat or you can go to Q&A, and I read both during this webinar. So everyone else, have a great evening, and I'll see you on the wall.